There are many players who play in the shadow of their legendary fathers, but are there any who have surpassed them? Let's take a look at 5 rugby players who are better than their fathers. Andy and Owen Farrell. Andy Farrell started his career playing rugby league for Wigan in 1991, who he represented 370 times, where he scored a whopping 3,135 points in his 13-year career at the Warriors. During this time he played 34 times for Great Britain and 11 times for England. In 2005 he switched codes to rugby union when he signed for Saracens, who he made 28 appearances for in his 4 years in the sport. He also represented England 8 times in 2007 and played in the World Cup that year in France. When Andy retired from playing in 2009, he became skills coach for Saracens before becoming the first team coach the next year. After impressing at Saracens, he joined the England coaching setup under Stuart Lancaster and signed a 3.5-year deal in 2012. Due to his work as the England defence coach, he went on the 2013 British and Irish Lions tour and was praised by Warren Gatland in their tour win against Australia. Farrell was sacked in the role as England's defence coach after England's pool stage exit in the 2015 World Cup. He went on to join Ireland as a defence coach, and after the 2019 World Cup, Farrell was promoted to head coach, where he remains today, and has guided them to become the #1 ranked team in the world. His son Owen started his career at 17 years old, becoming the youngest player to play in the Anglo-Welsh Cup, coming on for Saracens in a 26-17 loss to Scarlets. But even more amazingly, he had only started playing union 3 years earlier, having played league his whole life in Wigan before moving to London. He has only ever played for Saracens apart from a small loan spell at Bedford where he played 4 times. He has scored over 2,300 points and is to date over 230 appearances for the club. He was so devoted to Saracens, he risked international selection to stay with the club when they got relegated in 2020 due to salary cap breaches, and helped them return to the Premiership the next season and even make the final in the first season back up. In 2012, Owen made his debut at England, playing at 12 against Scotland in the first round of that year's Six Nations. In his third cap, he moved to his preferred position of fly half, but his time at outside centre for England would not end there. He was an important player for England in their 2015 World Cup campaign, playing all 4 pool matches, but only playing the full 80 in 2 of them. After the sacking of Stuart Lancaster and the start of the Eddie Jones era, Farrell continued to play a pivotal role for England, but due to the lack of quality inside centres, he often lined up at 12 with George Ford taking the 10 spot. As part of this duo, England won 2 Six Nations in a row in 2016 and 2017, and also went on a record-equalling 18-match unbeaten run. In 2018, Farrell became the England captain for the first time, leading his country to a World Cup final in 2019. He remains captain to this day and has gained over 100 caps for his country. Emil and Romain Ntamack. Emil Ntamack played for Toulouse from 1988 to 2004. He was the first man ever to lift the Heineken Cup in 1996 when Toulouse beat Cardiff 21-18 at the Cardiff Arms Park in Wales. He won the cup again in 2003, where a famous picture of him and his son Romain can be seen celebrating the win together. He also won 6 French titles and 2 French Cups throughout his 16-year career with Toulouse. Emil made his debut for France in 1994 Five Nations, losing to Wales 24-15, who would eventually go on to win the title that year, and was part of the 1997 Grand Slam winning side. He represented France in both the 1995 and 1999 Rugby World Cups before retiring internationally in 2000, gaining 46 caps for his country. In 2007, he was named as the backs coach for the French national team under Marc Livremont. His son Romain made his debut for Toulouse in 2017 at the age of 18 years old in a 30-10 victory over Agen. In his 6 years with Toulouse, he's won 2 league titles and 1 Champions Cup. In 2019, he was called up to the French Six Nations squad, and just like his father, made his debut in a loss against Wales, who again went on to win the title that year. He was named breakout player of that Six Nations and went on to represent France in the 2019 World Cup. In 2020, with the change in French coaching staff, Ntamack was one of the key players for Emil Gatti in the revamp of French rugby. By investing in youth, France went on to win a Grand Slam in the 2022 Championship, which was France's first championship win since 2010. At the young age of 23, Ntamack has already picked up more than 30 caps for his country and will surely be a key player for them in the future. Alain and Damien Penno. Alain Penno played at fly half for Brie for 15 years during his 20-year career, along with stints at Saracens, Toulouse, Lyon and Stade Francais. He captained Brive to a Heineken Cup win in 1997, beating Leicester Tigers in the final. As what seems to be becoming a tradition in this video, he debuted for France against Wales in the 1992 Five Nations. He was in and out of the French side during the 90s, but still managed to take part in the 1997 Grand Slam, but missed out in the 1995 and 1999 Rugby World Cup. In 1998, he moved to Saracens, where he scored 66 points in his 1 season there, before returning to France, winning the championship with Toulouse in 2000-2001 season. His performances for Toulouse saw him get recalled into the French squad for the inaugural Six Nations Championship in 2000. He ended his international career with 32 caps, scoring 62 points. He retired from rugby in 2007 after a season with Lyon, where he was player coach while they were in the Pro D2. His final season in rugby was somewhat tumultuous, as he received a 30-day ban for insulting a referee during the match. His son Damien is a winger for Clermont, making his debut for the club against Agen in April of 2016, but he actually played at inside centre in this game, where he played a lot of his rugby in his early career. He only played 1 game that season, but in the following season he established himself as a backup to the centres and played in the top 14 final, helping them win the title by setting up Clermont's only try of that game. He also played in the Champions Cup final in the same season, which ended in a loss to Saracens. Nations. But in 2019 he would win European silverware by beating La Rochelle in the Challenge Cup final, 36-16. In 2017, Penno was named in France's tour of South Africa, scoring off the bench on his debut in a 37-15 loss in the second test. He then started at 13 in the next match, which also ended in defeat. Having played for France against South Africa 3 times and New Zealand once in 2017, he missed out on the 2018 Six Nations and didn't make his Six Nations debut until 2019 in a loss to Wales. They all seem to have some sort of debut against Wales, don't they? He scored twice in that campaign, once against England in round 2 and another against Italy in round 5. After strong performances that year, he represented France 3 times at the World Cup, where they were knocked out in the quarterfinals against Wales. He became an important part of Fabien Galtier's rebuild and was joint top try scorer in France's 2022 Six Nations Grand Slam. At the age of 26, he's already gained more caps than his father did, with 40 at the time of recording. Dick and Will Greenwood. Dick Greenwood played for multiple clubs across the world. He started playing at Waterloo from the late 50s until 1972, and in between this, he spent 1 year with Cambridge University, and also played for England. He made his debut against Ireland in 1966, and played his last game in 1969, which he captained. He gained 5 caps for England and never won a game, losing 4 and drawing 1. In 1972, he was sent to Kenya by the RFU on a coaching assignment where he played for the invitational side Scorpions RFC before moving to Italy and playing for Roma between 1973 and 1976. When he retired from playing, he became a coach for Preston Grasshoppers and also coached England in an unsuccessful period between 1983 and 1985. His son Will Greenwood played amateur rugby for Preston Grasshoppers and Waterloo and played for Harlequins during the transition between amateur and professionalism. In 1996, he signed for Leicester, playing 151 times for them until 2000, where he returned to Harlequins until his retirement in 2006. In 1997, he was called up to the British and Irish Lions squad before ever gaining a cap for England, but was injured on the tour. He would tour with the Lions 2 more times in 2001 and 2005, earning 2 test appearances. He made his England debut later in 1997 against Australia. He became an important part of the England squad and formed a crucial partnership with Mike Tyndall during their 2003 World Cup win, where he played in all but one of the matches. He retired from international rugby in 2004, having gained 55 caps and scoring 31 tries. Arturo and Mauro Bergamasco. There's very little information about Arturo Bergamasco, but we do know he played for Rovigo and Petrassa between 1969 and 1983, winning 2 Italian championships in his 14-year career. In 1973, he made his Italian debut and played 3 more times for the Azzurri until 1978, winning 1 match and losing the other 3. His son Mauro also played for Petrassa from 1997 to 2000 before joining Benetton, who he played for until 2003 when he moved to Stade Francais in Paris. He played for them until 2011 when he returned to Italy to represent Arione in the Pro 12. He joined Zebri the next year after they replaced Arione in the Pro 12 when the Italian Rugby Federation revoked their license for financial mismanagement. Mauro made his debut for Italy against the Netherlands in 1998, quickly becoming a key member of the squad. His best position was as a flanker, but he was played on the wing by John Kerwin in 2003, who likened him to John Lemieux. He also played against England in 2009 at scrum half, which led to some rather hilarious highlights. He was subbed at half time after 3 of his mistakes led directly to England tries. He returned to his normal position the week later. In 2007, he gained a 4-week ban for punching Welsh scrum half Stephen Jones, and then received a 13-week ban the next year for an eye gouge in the same fixture. In 2015, he became only the 2nd player to play at 5 World Cups, the first being Samoan Brian Lima. He retired from rugby in the same year, having made 106 appearances for his country and scoring 75 points. He missed out on Italy winning the Giuseppe Garbialdi Trophy in 2011 due to injury, which is one of the 9 trophies played for in the Six Nations, which you can learn all about by watching this video right here. Thanks for watching.